Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's time to take a look at Journeys Together. Time to continue along our series of is it time to buy, time to invest. Me catching up to all the sets, stepped away from the game for a few months, and now it's time to look at if it's time to buy. Now I personally don't buy English anymore, but it's still fun for me to look at how past me would have done if I was patient and bought these cards 3 to 6 months after they release. But that's my rule of thumb. Wait 3 to 6 months for that 50% drop. Once you see that 50% drop, it's usually going to build a base around that mark, and it's time to buy the Pokemon card. Now, I am a singles collector. First, I buy some seal collection towards the tail end. The past series, Surgeon Sparks fell 54% on average, okay? Prismatic Evolution fell 54% on average. Now, it was like a $6,000 collection when you bought the first 10 cards or so, and it came down to about $3,000. That's just how crazy it is. Like, if you wait to buy Pokemon cards at the undervalued mark of 3 to 6 months, when everyone's moved on to the next hype set, you save so much money, all right? You save over 50% of your money that you can use to buy sealed product. That's always been my game plan. So Journeys Together, not a very beloved set. These cards drop way faster, right? If it's a set like Surgeon Sparks where everyone loved that Pikachu, was chasing that Pikachu, hyped up about the Pikachu, it held its value for 3-4 months. It released in November, price didn't drop to like March or April, I think. But Journeys Together, not loved at all, dropped immediately. This is like how a normal set acts like. So how a normal set acts is like this. It drops immediately after release. This Clefairy is a top chase card and it still fell 46%, right? From 236 down to 130, 126, so over $100 drop. Save yourself $100, buy yourself an ETB plus a booster bundle. That's how you should do it. You can use the money you save to buy that sealed product so that future sealed collection will go up in value and pay for this card. Salamence, my personal favorite card in this set. I bought this immediately in Japanese just because it was below $30 when it came out. So that's my price point of buying singles is $30 for a chase card. $30 for SIR is like the best deal out there. And so I don't really need to wait for it, right? I'm not gonna buy this when it comes out at $133 because I know it's gonna go down 50%. Again, it went down 45% to a low of $73 over a $50 savings. So that $50 can be used to buy another ETB, right? Can't really buy in this market, but usually an ETB used to be $50, right? Buy your seal with the money you save, or buy multiple copies of this in Japanese if you really want. And Japanese right now is still the best deal when it comes to buying cards until they come out in Chinese. So Volcanion, this card I want to make an example of because it did not drop 50%. It only dropped from peak to trough. I look at from peak to trough. I don't look at like always release day. Usually release day is the peak, but sometimes it can be bought up a little early because people think it's undervalued or is more in demand than expected. But from peak to trough, $43 down to its current day low of $26. That's roughly a 40% drop. So it actually held up better than the top 2 chase cards in the set. Now, the reason for that being is it's not a very expensive card to begin with. Like, I don't always expect a cheaper card to drop as much just because it's kind of priced in. Like, the price is kind of baked in based on the demand. And so you don't always get a 50% drop. But like I said, you get the 30, 40, 50% drop. Anywhere around that price range where you kind of see it, like this one looks like it's still could go lower, but it also looks like it could be flatline around this mark where it's not really dropping too much more. It's from $28 down to $26 in the span of a couple months. That's usually is a ballpark, right? You'll get that card around a $25 mark. So for me, if you're a Volcanion fan, I think it's a great time to pick it up. Articuno. Now, this is probably the #1 illustration rare in this set, and most likely one day to get pumped, to be honest, just because it's a legendary bird. Moltres got an SIR, Zapdos got an SIR in 151. This one unfortunately did not get an SIR, but it's much easier to pump a illustration rare than an SIR. Unfortunately, I don't really work in that world. I want to buy my cards as low as possible. So what I worry about is when should I buy it, right? This card was a $40 card, went down to a low of $20. That's a 50% drop. There you go, on the ballpark, right? 50% drop. Wailord, a card that did get pumped. You saw this giant volume right here, pumped up to $21, $22. It was a low from a low of $12. So that's almost a double up. And they're gonna make their money back. All right, they got it up to $21. They're gonna make their money back soon. But it is a card that went down 80%, 75%. So some cards do drop 80%, right? We saw that with 70-80% drops were Alolan Exeggutor in Surgeon Sparks. I think that was like 70%. Master Ball Umbreon fell 80%. Cards that people try to hype up but don't live up to the actual hype, they will drop 8%. So we saw that with Drowsy. We saw that with like all the illustration rare hype pump during the early springtime. They all fell almost back, complete retracement to where they were. So don't fall for the hype, guys. Stick to the rule of thumb. Wait for that 50% drop, or as close as you can get to it. Some will go over it, some will not go over it. So overall numbers, if you look at the cards that I kind of examine all these cards right here, plus these two, Articuno, Wailord, and Reshiram, because those are the cards I would want to buy. So those cards, total value of $805 at the high point. Now at the lows, they hit a low of $416. That is a total savings of 50%, right at the ballpark of 50%. And I've been saying that previous videos, 3 to 6 months for the 50% drop. Some higher, some lower, but the average is 50%. Again, Journeys Together, to my surprise, held up better thus far than Surging Sparks and Prismatic. The price may not be as great as those, but the percentage drop, not as bad either. But again, we talk about investing based on the fact how low you can buy these at. And I think these prices are as low as they'll go. No doubt they can go lower, but are they gonna go much lower? Are they gonna do another 30% drop from this point? I don't think so. And that's how I base it on. If you bought it when it first came out, could they drop 30%? Hell yeah, they will. Now look at some sealed product booster models. Again, for us in Canada, what I can buy is exactly this price. Walmart MSRP is now market price, secondary market price. So we're in a lose-lose situation up here in Canada. If you don't buy it now, market price creeps up in the secondary market, apply at MSRP at Walmart, it's just gonna disappear, right? ETBs is actually cheaper than what we pay. I think we pay $110 for MSRP, which is about $80. So this is just actually right at $80, right? But it did hit a low of 65. Booster boxes nowadays are kind of rare, right? Because Pokemon is not printing enough of these to supply the needs of ribbon shippers and vendors and people who want to keep these sealed, just because we've seen what booster boxes do in the long run. Pokemon's plan is really just to print those EX boxes, jam a couple sets together. That's the reprint. That's the reprint plan, all right, for this holiday season. So I don't think we will see the crash that we are expecting for booster boxes, unfortunately. And I'm not trying to entice FOMO or anything, right? Because again, I like to buy stuff as low as possible. I look for the game plan. What's my game plan to buy as low as possible? I wanted to own a couple booster boxes, right? Last season, or last winter, before Black Friday, I bought all of the booster boxes because I wanted some skin in the game. This year, I don't think I could do the same thing. Booster boxes are just too expensive now. I do make prediction videos when a set comes out. So I wanted you guys to prepare what the price point will be when you buy it. It'll be a 50% decline. That's usually what my rule of thumb is, right? So I will just predict that price for you guys when it comes to release date price. But again, I'm off by $5, $10 at most, which is great savings compared to if you were buying this card at $100 when it came out, right? Same thing, you bought this at $133, I predict it's gonna be an $8 card. Why don't you just wait and save yourself $50? If you got the money for it, it doesn't matter. If you're a budget person like me, then it kind of does matter to save yourself $100, $50 here, $30 here. It just adds up for trying to help you buy the seal collection, right? So y'all, thank you for watching. I will catch you guys next time.